I've got a piece of hardware on the table today that rolled out of the factory back in 1963. 3 generations of shooters have carried this thing. And let me tell you, the cylinder lockup on this old warhorse is still tighter than most of the polymer and MIM part wonders rolling off the assembly lines right now. Today, we are breaking down 7 wheel guns engineered to do one thing: outlast the shooter. These are the revolvers that laugh at high round counts. Hardware your great-grandchildren will be taking to the range long after we are gone. And the number 1 pick? It is so overbuilt that gunsmiths joke it is the only thing surviving a nuclear winter. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because we are talking about permanent additions to your safe. Let's get to it. Number 7. The Ruger Redhawk. Back in 1979, Ruger engineers got their marching orders. Design a .44 Magnum revolver that could eat the hottest handloads on the planet all day long, and never break. Their answer was the Redhawk, a gun so over-engineered that ammo manufacturers actually had to rewrite their warning labels. Take a look at those cylinder walls. They are 40% thicker than the specs called for. The top strap on this frame is beefier than most bolt-action rifle receivers. They used a unique single spring mechanism that spreads the recoil stress across the entire steel frame. This is not just strong, it is apocalypse-proof. You have got Alaskan guides carrying Redhawks loaded with 340-grain hard-cast lead. Handloaders are pushing these things to near rifle pressures. And after 100,000 rounds of pure abuse, the timing is still perfect. Ruger didn't just build a .44 Magnum here, they built a portable artillery piece. Market check. The 5.5-inch .44 Magnum runs about $900 to $1,050 new. The 7.5-inch Hunter model sits between $950 and $1,100. And the Super Redhawk versions in .454 Casull? Those command $1,000 to $1,200 bucks. This is the Magnum that treats nuclear loads like target wad cutters. Number 6. Smith & Wesson Model 19. Number 6. The Smith & Wesson Model 19, Bill Jordan, the legendary Border Patrol gunfighter. He walked into Smith & Wesson with a mission. He wanted a K-frame .357 Magnum that was light enough to carry on a duty belt for 12 hours, but strong enough to win a gunfight. The Model 19 Combat Magnum was the answer, and it completely changed the game for law enforcement. The genius here was the balance. At 35 ounces loaded, it carried like a .38 Special, but it hit like a .357. You had the shrouded ejector rod to stop it from bending during a struggle. Wide target trigger and hammer came standard right out of the box. And that bright orange front ramp sight? It actually worked in low light. Now, the early Model 19s had pinned barrels and recessed chambers. Those are the details that make collectors lose their minds. The K-frame just fits the human hand, period. The balance point sits dead center on the trigger guard. It feels less like a gun and more like a professional tool. State troopers loved them, feds cherished them, and competition shooters cleaned house with them. Now, to be fair, a steady diet of lightweight .357 screamers could eventually crack the forcing cone. But feed them 38+ P for practice, and these things are immortal. Market check. Vintage examples from the 60s and 70s run $800 to $1,200. Pre-lock versions from the 1980s fetch $700 to $900. And those rare 2.5-inch snubbies, you are looking at $900 to $1,400. This is Bill Jordan's vision, forged in steel. The perfect balance of firepower and carry comfort. Number 5. The Colt Trooper. While everyone else was obsessing over the Python, the smart money was buying troopers. This was the working man's Colt. It shared that legendary Python DNA, but at half the cost. From 1953 through the 80s, the Trooper evolved through multiple marks, and each one was tougher than the last. The Mark III, introduced in 1969, did something radical. It used a completely new action with coil springs and sintered iron parts. Now, the Colt purists called it heresy, but it worked. The timing stayed lockstep perfect. The trigger smoothed out like glass, and unlike the Python, you could actually afford to take this thing out and shoot it. It borrowed that shrouded ejector rod straight from the Python design. The solid rib barrel gave you a perfect sight radius, and those adjustable sights actually held 0. This was Colt admitting that pretty does not always mean practical. Highway patrol units ran these troopers hard. Rural sheriffs trusted them with their lives, and hunters found out they shot just as straight as target guns costing twice as much. The trooper proved that the prancing pony could build a tank when they wanted to. Market check. Mark III versions run $600 to $900. The later Mark V models fetch $700 to $1,000, and early 357 troopers command $800 to $1,300. This is Colt's blue-collar masterpiece. Python performance without the mortgage payment. Number 4. Smith & Wesson Model 66. Number 4. The Smith & Wesson Model 66. Take the perfection of the Model 19 Combat Magnum, forge it out of stainless steel, and you get the Model 66. The revolver that officially made blued steel obsolete for duty use. Introduced in 1970. This became the standard issue law enforcement wheel gun for 2 decades. Stainless was not just about aesthetics, it was about survival. Rain, sweat, salt air, neglect. None of it mattered. Marine units loved these things. Departments in the tropics demanded them. Anyone who has ever seen a blued gun rust shut in a leather holster understood immediately. Every internal part is stainless or treated. The springs do not rust and weaken. The forcing cone resists flame cutting better than carbon steel ever could. And that brushed finish hides the holster wear that makes blued guns look ragged. The Coast Guard issued them. Island police departments standardized on them. Guides in Alaska and Africa chose them. Because when your life depends on a click going bang after months of humidity and salt, stainless is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Market check. A standard 4-inch runs $750 to $900. The 2.5-inch combat snubby fetches $850 to $1,100. And those performance center tuned models? They reach $1,000 to $1,300. This is the combat Magnum that laughs at the weather report. Stainless perfection, inside and out. Number 3. Ruger GP100. Number 3. The Ruger GP100. When Ruger killed off the Security 6 back in 1985, dealers panicked. Then they saw the replacement, the GP100. And they realized Ruger did not just replace it, they perfected it. This is the 357 Magnum that refuses to acknowledge limits. It uses a triple locking cylinder, locks at the front, the rear, and at the crane. No other production revolver does that. The solid frame has smaller windows for weight reduction, but it sacrifices 0 strength. The grip system uses a peg-style mount that never shoots loose. That investment cast frame is stronger than forged steel when it is done right, and nobody does it better than Ruger. The heat treatment creates uniform hardness all the way through the metal, and the modular trigger group drops out as one single unit for maintenance. This is engineering without compromise. I know competition shooters putting 50,000 rounds a year through GP100s. Security companies issue them because they know the gun will outlive the guard carrying it. You literally cannot shoot this gun loose. It just gets smoother. Market check. The 4-inch standard runs $750 to $850. 6-inch target models fetch $800 to $950, and the match champion versions command $900 to $1,100. It is built like they were trying to make it immortal. And honestly, they succeeded. Number 2. Smith & Wesson Model 29. Number 2. The Smith & Wesson Model 29, the most powerful handgun in the world. When Clint Eastwood dropped that line in 1971, the Model 29 was already a legend among serious handgunners. After Dirty Harry, it became a myth. But beneath that Hollywood glamour lies some serious engineering excellence. The N-frame was already battle-proven, with decades of 44 Special and 45 ACP service. Stepping up to 44 Magnum just meant better steel and tighter tolerances. Those recessed chambers on the early guns? Totally unnecessary, but absolutely beautiful. The wide target hammer and trigger came as standard equipment. Smith tested the prototypes with proof loads that would have turned lesser guns into hand grenades. They fired thousands of rounds through single test units. They perfected the heat treatment until those frames could handle pressures that bent the laws of physics. Handgun hunters built entire careers on the Model 29. Silhouette shooters use them to knock down steel rams at 200 meters. And despite the mythology, the recoil is completely manageable if you use proper technique. This is not a monster. It is a precision instrument. Market check. Pre-lock 4-inch versions run $1,200 to $1,800. The classic 6.5-inch models fetch $1,000 to $1,500. And the long 8 3/8-inch artillery pieces reach $1,100 to $1,600. Add a nickel finish? Add another $200 to $400. This is the gun that made the .44 Magnum famous and made fame look easy. But number one isn't about Hollywood or history. It is about pure, unstoppable function. A revolver so overbuilt that professional gun destroyers gave up trying to break it. This is the wheel gun that makes everything else look fragile. Prepare yourself. Number one, the Ruger Super Redhawk. When Ruger dropped the Super Redhawk in 1987, they asked a simple question. What if we ignored every conventional limit? What if we built a revolver that could handle rifle pressures? What if durability was the only goal? Look at this frame. It extends out beyond the cylinder, creating a massive sight radius and integral scope mounts machined right out of the solid steel. No screws to loosen, no bases to shift under recoil. The frame is the mount. The mechanism uses dual springs that cannot stack or bind. The crane is thicker than some revolver barrels. The cylinder is the same diameter as wheel guns chambered for rifle cartridges. This isn't overbuilt. This is a different category of strong. And here is why it is number one. The absolute truth. Professional ammunition testers use Super Redhawks for proof load testing. Why? Because they literally cannot break them. Loads that would crack a Model 29 or detonate a lesser gun just make the Super Redhawk yawn. The 454 Casull version generates 65,000 psi. That is rifle pressure in a handgun. The cylinder gap flash can set paper on fire at 3 feet. The recoil requires a fundamentally different shooting technique, and the Super Redhawk handles it like it is nothing special. This is the revolver Alaskan guides bet their lives on when a client wounds a brown bear in the brush. African professional hunters carry them for buffalo backup. Not because it is powerful, lots of revolvers are powerful, but because it absolutely will not fail. Here is the kicker. Super Redhawks with 200,000 rounds of full power loads still function perfectly. No end shake, no timing issues, no forcing cone erosion. The gun simply does not wear out. It is an engineering marvel. Traditional revolvers support the cylinder at 2 points. The Super Redhawk supports it at the front, the rear, and the bottom. Stress that would concentrate and crack a frame spreads harmlessly across that massive steel chassis. Available calibers read like a destroyer's arsenal. .44 Magnum is the mild one. 454 Casull, 480 Ruger, even 10mm auto, with a scope mounted in those integral rings. Super Redhawks shoot rifle-accurate groups at ranges that embarrass lever actions. 2-inch groups at 100 yards are routine. This isn't a handgun pretending to be a rifle. It is both. Market check. Standard .44 Magnum 7.5-inch runs $950 to $1,100. The 454 Casull versions fetch $1,050 to $1,250. And the Alaskan 2.5-inch snubby in 454 commands $1,100 to $1,400. If you can find one. The Forever Gun. This is the revolver that proves limits are imaginary. That durability is not about lasting a long time, it is about lasting forever. That American engineering can still build something genuinely unbreakable. Your grandchildren won't inherit a worn-out Super Redhawk. They will inherit a gun that is just getting broken in. From the balanced Model 19 to the indestructible Super Redhawk. These are investments in permanence. Revolvers do not become obsolete, they become heirlooms. Tell me in the comments below, which wheel gun are you leaving to your grandkids? Smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the guns that define the word forever. Some guns last a lifetime. These 7, they last multiple lifetimes. I'll see you on the range.